Is this thing working? Where's my dearest girl who is it working, you think?
Yes. I have a second if you like that.
Yeah. Does that work too? Oh,
Yes.
I like to walk around. Is it working?
Yes, it is.
Can y'all hear me through this? I can barely hear myself. It happens with age, I think. Really nice to been invited by Andrea and my best friend at home, and Holly and all these wonderful people that asked me to come. I'm a weird cat. I'm going to say a lot of things you're not going to like. I'm going to say a lot of things that might be of interest to you, but the main thing I have to say is I was coming from India and picking up a couple of mags is I was blessed to go through the most incredible social change of the 1960s, when there was a soup that was so fantastic that only God could have put up the recipe. We had a women's feminist movement, which was massive, and the first time that women didn't have to be at home and could work and be here today and so forth. And they invented this pill so they could act as wild as men could for centuries, which was really cool. You had the civil rights revolution going on. We had assassinations in my hometown. There were bodies in the streets and buildings burning, and there was National Guard surrounding the place and a curfew at 5 o'clock. Pretty serious culture going on. We had another amazing pill which came out of a couple of guys from Harvard who I actually knew at the time, Timothy Leary, called lysergic acid, which would change your consciousness. And all of a sudden, there was another amazing feature, because it used to be that you had to join the old boy network. You worked for a couple of years and you became this, and then you got to be a member of the club as a junior member, and then by the time you were 40 or 50 you were allowed inside the club, and then you were part of what was happening. That's the way it was, and it had been for centuries. But all of a sudden we had 10,000 747, 777s, I don't know, airplanes with nuclear weapons flying around the globe 24 hours a day, with everything on the news. Every day was imminent nuclear annihilation of the entire world. Every day. We had sirens go off in the afternoon where we would go down into the schoolrooms, into the basements, because nuclear, it was going to happen any moment. We had the Cuban guys that were there. We were digging fallout shelters all over the South. It was amazing culture. You can imagine all of this soup coming together at once. The Vietnam War, all my brothers and sisters being killed over for no reason. The first time a war was ever on TV every day. First time in history. You could see the horror and the mutilation of brothers and sisters of both sides of it. So the deal was, to hell with joining the old boy network. I'm going to take mine now. So this amazing revolution occurred. It was a social revolution. We dropped out. We had our own clothes, our own poets, our own intellectuals, our own music, our own everything. And it was such a tumultuous thing. I never thought in the world that I would see in my lifetime another major cultural change until the last 10 years with technology. On my way over here, I picked up 2 magazines. One of them says that you all are the me generation. Let's go on Facebook and make a lot of digital friends. What do you say? How many friends you got? Yeah. Then I pick up this next one, and it says, the mindful revolution. Those that are more thoughtful, those that care more, those that want to change. This is your chance. This is a new cultural revolution that you're in the midst of. And I'm really hoping that you can change all the mistakes that we made, because we screwed up everything. We didn't change a damn thing. But I wanted to play a song, and I want to play it in the dark so you can hear. It's a guy named Robert Zimmerman, to hear what we were hearing, pieces of words and culture that no one had ever heard before. It's about 7 minutes. I'm going to turn all the lights out so you can hear, literally, if you'll focus on the wildness of what was going on between young people and these words we'd never heard before. This is the best of Bobby's. But can you imagine a culture that suddenly the soup, the Vietnam War, this, that, everything, it creates a sense of let's drop out and to hell with it. It's all going to be annihilated tomorrow. And so this culture thing changed. It became amazing. Music became the international language. It is still. It transcends borders, backgrounds, age groups, cultures, everything. And I was so blessed to go to London when I was really young. My father didn't like me too much. He ran off at 54 with a 20-year-old beauty queen who's a few years older than me. So they sent me up to a place called Carlisle, which is the armpit of England, where it rains every day. A place called Carr's Biscuits, where they make these little table water biscuits. I was a doughboy for a year and a half. I was getting 18 pounds a week. Women were getting half the pay I was getting. A pound was about $2.40 then. And I saved up 600 pounds. And I went out for one reason, because my mother, I'd lost 2 brothers, my parents were divorced, one brother died in my arms. I went through the most amazing childhood where my family founded this town, little town. Most of the people worked for them. You know, from the time I was 7 or 8, everybody was saying my name and coming up to me. I was intuitive. I knew, I said, why are they treating me this way? Because they're scared of your family. I could never be as powerful or as rich and as famous as I was in a small town. So by the time I was 16, I was over it all. I didn't care for money, fame, power. And I'd also experienced death and lovelessness and destruction and violence and insanity by the time I was 16 or 17. So it was like God put it all in the back before I even started life. So I saved 600 pounds up at Carr's Biscuits, the armpit of England. Please don't go there. Rains every day, right in the middle of the North Sea. And I bought my mother an old Rolls-Royce car, 1954 Silver Dawn. It was 600 pounds. They consider them old bangers then. It's 1966, 67. The last school I ran away from all of them, of course, was the American School in Lugano, Switzerland, which I ran off to Paris to meet some bohemians down in the left bank. I can't believe I'm still alive and talking. And talking the truth, too. So I bought my mother's car, and I borrowed some money, and I was with the Swedes underneath steerage on the great boat to France, and took it off the boat in New York. And the cat came up to me and said, "That's a 1954 Silver Dawn." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "They made 535 of those." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I'll give you $35,000 for it." And my whole thing, I'd given, this love was the whole reason, the gift from my mother. My whole life passed in front of me, all these horrible things and things I wanted to give her this gift. I was about to say, "Sir, I'm terribly sorry." He said, "My bank's right there." I closed my first deal in 15 minutes. And I went and checked in at the Plaza Hotel, called up Charles Moore, a friend of my family's, who was head of Chase Bank at the time. I said, "Mr. Moore, I don't understand just about." He said, "You found a window in the market, boy. You better get over there and buy some more of those cars." So I went over and bought 5 and brought them over and put an ad in the New York Times, sold them off the boat. Then I got 15, then I got 25. The window closed after 11 months. I was 18 years old. It was 1967, and I had $250,000, which I never reported to the IRS. I felt guilty that I had money, and knowing my age did. That was a hell of a trip. And eventually took that money and opened an altar out of love again, because we had these heroes, the musicians, Hendrix, the Beatles, Clapton, The Who, Led Zeppelin, who I had actually had them arrested one night. I wish I had $1 for every celebrity I've thrown out of my places. I'd be a rich guy. And I wish I had $1 for every lawyer I fired. I'd also be a very rich guy. Anyway, this place was called the Hard Rock Cafe, and there were lines around the block, and the next thing I knew, all the heroes were sitting there, and it was the most extraordinary moment of my career. Where's my girl? Might have something to show. I don't want to, they give me a limited time, and I could talk for about 6 or 7 hours about metaphysics in particular, but it's not my subject today. Oh my goodness, glasses, eyes. I was going to try to tell a story. Why don't we, I tell you what, let's go back to that other little bit. This is we're joined at the hip right now. This is just to show you the revolution and being scared and being frightened. I'm going to show something very risque. In 1971 we opened, and every designer was there, every model, every hero, every musician, every filmmaker, and everyone under 30. It was part of the revolution. So they wanted me to do a story in Newsweek in 1971. I refused. That was like selling out to Big Brother. And my partner went and got my dad and got him on my case, and he said, "You've got to do this, you've got to do that. I'm not going to do it, I'm not just selling out this Big Brother." And finally I said I'd do it, but I've got to do it in a way in which all my brothers and sisters out there will know that I'm not taking this seriously. So if we could put up this one, put this up first, that's something interesting. You see that that was a picture out of the Newsweek photo of my partner and myself. Make it up there. He's really a pain in the ass, that guy. And then the Newsweek article came out. I'd like to show you just how I did this in the most risque of ways. Here we go. 1971. I made sure I shot a special message to all my brothers and sisters, but most of them were very smart. So I said in the article there was a copy of the Finger Diner from Finger, Tennessee. Barely got me off the hook. I'm very proud of that piece. I can see the people that organized this day are very excited that I showed that. That's the way I felt. Culture. It's incredible. You've got one going now that's so cool, it's so amazing, and it's up to you to whether you put into it human values and do the right thing. You end up like all these other sons of bitches. We didn't trust anybody over 30. And the reason is, the world is your oyster. You get off the yoke of the parents when you're 16, 17. The world's your oyster. You put a backpack on, go anywhere in the world. Music is everything, and the opposite sex and stuff like that. And, you know, the world's yours. And then all of a sudden you get a job, which many of you will be shortly doing. And then you will get, it'll be politics, because all jobs and companies are involved in politics, something the imperialist bastards, the English, left behind in their bureaucracy to the rest of the world, which India is still suffering from, my dear home country. And all of a sudden you'll be brown-nosing the boss and telling fibs, and then you get a wife, and you got a mortgage, you got a car, you got this, and you'll do anything to keep the lifestyle going. Cheat, steal, rob. You'll be given those choices. Every one of you. From now on, you'll be given the choices between basic human values, at whatever they cost, or compromising your values, in which once you have once, the next time it's easier, and the next time, and the next time. And then all of a sudden life is over, and you've blown it. So, with that in mind, and I'm not kidding, enough of that bullshit, right? But then that's why I fooled you all in the first place. This is what happened in 3 years from the beginning, and you saw the first little tape done in '63, Corporate Opportunities, and in 3 years, through the grace of God and using human values, as I did in all my, I couldn't do it any other way. You know, there's no, you lie once, you're finished. So this is what happened in 3 years through the grace of God, from that first one to the next one here. At least in my mind, my heart, about how all this happened is some young cat from Jackson, Tennessee with a 10th grade education, and everything being based on the love for my mother, love for the heroes, building that altar called the Hard Rock, love for my African-American brothers and sisters I grew up with. It's key. And you're all going to be faced with decisions on how do you balance, you know, your income and your lifestyle with culture and giving back and being part of it. Well, because of the way I was raised, half by 4 generations of Southern Baptist ministers from Scotland, and half by some Scottish also, who are very heavy entrepreneurs. They used to rub nickels together, see if they'd make. And they were into cutting the wood off. We followed Daniel Boone over in the 1820s to the Carolinas, cutting all the trees down, the walnut trees, and starting this, and railroads, and banking, and manufacturing, and all that. So I had one foot and the spiritual world with all of these crazy preachers and everything. And then I had one foot in this material world, both simultaneously. People think that's impossible. You don't, go to church on Monday or go to the synagogue on Saturday and pray for the world and peace and go out on Monday and screw somebody out of $1 million. You're a dead man. Next time it's really easy. So I always felt that these two worlds, which people think are impossible to put together, are actually interwoven. So when I started the Hard Rock Cafe, everywhere I went, and not as an afterthought, but as an equal partner from the beginning, an equal partner, we decided that we wanted to get involved with all the homeless in London and started a whole soup kitchen and so forth, and all our kids went down there, went to New York. We're with Women in Need, 40,000 homeless women and children, the Salvation Army in Dallas, but from the beginning. It was part of the company. It wasn't an afterthought, oh, we've got money, let's give some charity, let's do something good. It was from here, from the beginning. It was inbred, it was tattooed. You can't separate the two, they're both the same. You can try your whole life, it won't work. It just won't work. So when we did the House of Blues, the idea of, raising really what the African American culture had given to America, which is not taught in school, which is art and music, is extraordinary. The Smithsonian did a multi-million-dollar study to find out where American music came from. And said it came from Memphis. It came from Memphis. It came out of the Delta. In 1900, a guy wrote the first blues song, W.C. Handy, and all of a sudden it was urbanized in Memphis, and then from there it turned into jazz and floated down to New Orleans, and then R&B, and then rock and roll. I mean, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, they all came out of the same little studio, which is about the size of that closet over there, all from Memphis. It was extraordinary. And right up the road we had all the white boys, from Germany and England and so forth. They came with their little mandolins and their old ancient instruments out of the country. They started country and western music, and my town was right in between the two. I'll never forget Dolly Parton in her shape when she appeared on the Porter Wagner show. I was just a kid. That was a wild moment. She's quite sweet, actually. But the point being is you can't separate heart and mind. There's two aspects to all of you. Okay, there's a male and a female aspect to each of you. The mind is the male aspect. It's like a computer. It is mean as hell. It just puts things in categories, deletes things, gives definition, does this, does that. And then there's the female part, the heart. The heart is where mercy and compassion and love and spirituality come from. And I can tell you from studying Eastern philosophy since I was 15 that they all talk about the balance between heart and mind. But if you want to channel pure creativity, almost divinely inspired, in fact it is, you have to balance these two. If there's too much head and not enough compassion, this and that, you'll miss the boat. There's too much compassion and not monitored by the head. But Leonardo da Vinci, perfect balance between heart and mind. All I did was just channel all that stuff. Busker sitting now down in Hyde Park Corner and underneath the ground and singing in perfect harmony and getting his few quarters put in and playing absolutely perfectly like a genius. He's got his heart and mind put together. He's creating divinity. He's creating the truth. So you have to think about these things because you are... which are you anyway? This is the first time there's been a revolution since this day. This is what they call you. These guys. The me generation. Because of connectivity, Facebook, everybody wants to be famous, everybody wants to have digital friends. You do an email with somebody back and forth a couple of times, you think you have a relationship. You keep it up, you think you have a friendship. Friendship is looking right in the face and talking to somebody and going through a hard time. So this whole social media thing, as beautiful as it is, and bringing the world together, is very dangerous if you take it seriously. Nobody's going to lend you, your friends on Facebook aren't going to lend you 5 cents if you're in trouble. Or are you this mindful revolution? I mean, one month they said that you're this, and the next month they're saying that you're spiritual and you care about values, and you're not going to make the same mistakes we made, and you're not going to end up reading The Art of War, which is prerequisite at Wharton School, so you got to screw everybody you can find. I met every criminal in the world. I met him at Wall Street, London, the Stock Exchange. It's where all the criminals are. It's a big casino whorehouse. It is. It is. It's manipulated completely now. So what is it you want to do? You can't take it with you. When you go, what are you going to do? How are you going to change the world? What is your culture going to do that mine didn't and tried to? This is a great opportunity. There's kids from all over the world. You have 3 or 4 days to go to talk about not bullshit. You can go to any conference and talk bullshit, but talk about what you really want and what you really need. And as the Beastie Boys said, you got to fight for your right to party. You have to fight. You have to fight. So I live in an ashram near a hospital. I rarely leave. Outside of my door, there are thousands of people starving to death. Old women and men are thrown out of their little mud huts because they can't afford to be fed and are dying on the streets. They can't even lift their hands to ask for a few pice. It's everywhere I go. It's humbling, it's extraordinary, it's amazing, and it's a chance for me to be less selfish and more aware and more cognizant that there's much more going on the planet than me. So y'all have incredible conversations, I hope, with each other over the days, and I hope that you change the world. Don't follow what these business schools are teaching you. It's bullshit. Really. We're going to read The Art of War and figure out how to screw somebody and hurt an entrepreneur and take money. I've been through all that. I've met everybody. Michael Milken took me public. You ever heard of Michael Milken and Drexel Burnham? Any hands? One of the most ruthless sons of bitches that ever came down the strip. He invented junk bonds, became the king of Wall Street. He took me public with the Hard Rock. I was running around opening new sites and getting things ready, and it was amazing. We agreed that we would only do the shares at 11 times earnings, which is even lower than the common shares on the market, because that way anyone who invested would be able to take the ride up. And they came in cheaper than anyone when they made their price for taking us public. And I signed an agreement with my financial people, my power of attorney, to set the price with them at the last minute. And I was out cutting new deals for new locations. And I came back and they put the thing under my door 2 days before we were going public, and we were selling for 30 times earnings, more than any other restaurant in history. And I called my financial guys in and I said, what the hell is going on? They said, here's our resignation. We're selling out at the bell. Complete ripoff to all the stockholders. They wanted to make money. They bought off my financial officers and said you can sell at the bell because you can't do that. If you're an officer, you have to keep your stock. Gave them big options, and they sold at the bell, and they split. And it was the only thing I could do to get it back, which was sort of neat, is we had the Blues Brothers play at the opening bell at the American Stock Exchange up on the. We dropped 10,000 real dollars right on everybody, all the traders, everybody. They started fighting and punching, and 10 million fake dollars went on after that. And now they're literally knocking it out. The bell rings and no one cares, and everyone's fighting. And the head of the stock exchange comes up and says, "Who authorized this?" And I just walk behind the curtain. But I was ripped off. As good as it was, as wonderful as it was, the stockholders got ripped off. They got ripped off. These guys bought off my guys. It's unbelievable. The same thing in a weird way happened with the House of Blues. It was a meteor. Everything we touched turned to gold. We got 3 Grammys. We won every radio show thing. We were the first ones to put sound on the net. Pre-Mosaic, pre-real audio. Al Gore, who's a friend of mine, lent me something called the M-Bone, which no one knew it existed. And he let me have that, and we put the first sound around the world, which was such an extraordinary, wonderful thing. And it was all kids and pre-email, pre-everything. And so I took in Disney as a partner. I didn't rip him off. I got a Coke. I got in a battle between Coke and Pepsi between Michael Eisner and Disney and the heads of Universal Studios. They both wanted me to open a place down there, and we fought and met Eisner several times. Well-known, ruthless, beautiful businessman from LA, and he finally said, well, what do you want? What do you want? I said, I'll tell you what I want. I want you to give me $60 million for free. I want $20 million so I can build a place in Orlando. I want another $20 million for free. I'll build it over in Anaheim. And I'm starting a new company. I want window dressing. I want $20 million you invest in my company. And his chief financial officer called me back. He hung up, of course. And then his chief financial officer called me back. He said, Michael will go along with it, but he's going to destroy you. And next thing I know, when everything's going, everything's happening, and I've got now, I'm under 51%, me and Danny, and I've got Harvard and Chemical Bank and all these securities companies and Disney, and the next thing you know, we have a boardroom brawl, and they throw me out of my own company. They went on to lose $300 million. They took the values out of the business. It became money. There was no values, human values in that company. It was all about Jack, period. Most important thing that happened to me as a young kid when all these people were coming up to me in my little hometown of Jackson, Tennessee, and I'd walk around Court Square as a kid, and everyone would come out the lorries and, how you, Mr. Tiger, here's a piece of gum, half a piece of candy. And I asked my nanny, why are they doing this? They don't even know me. I'm intuitive. I know what they're thinking and what they're saying is totally different. And they said, well, they're scared of your family. They've always worked for your family, so they're scared of your family. And it became an intuitive thing with me. It's one of the reasons I ran away, because everyone that came up to me, I knew what they were saying, what they were thinking were 2 different things. Thought, word, and deed have to be always the same. What you're thinking, what you're saying, what you're doing is the same, or you're wasting time and you're wasting life, and it's a sin. And you'll always get caught. No one will believe you. And even if it doesn't work out right, you can sleep at night. Really important. Thought, word, and deed must be the same. Has to be. It's a secret. Big secret. So I'm going to show you one last thing, which is what I'm into now, which was given to me by my master as something for the New Age, which apparently is coming in about 20 years. And this is a hospital that I was lucky enough to build with the cash I made from the Hard Rock. It's a free hospital. It's in the middle of nowhere. Hospital Corp of America built the thing for us. We had the leading sacred architect who works at the Prince of Wales School of Architecture now, Keith Critchlow, design it. But it's been extraordinary. It's been going for 20 years. They have high-end operations. It's all free. No one pays a dime. It's all of the poorest of the poor. Anyway, this is what I'm up to now, and I've got 5 others. If anybody's got any cash and wants to make a lot of money, if you've got a value system to go with it. Here we go, Mystic into the 7th Ray. Can you get this, the whole thing to pull up? And nice and loud, please.
Hope springs eternal. It is my good fortune that the teacher gave me the task of delivering to you this message. It is a gift to mankind, a glimpse into an inspiring new future at hand. It has been gifted to us as a model to show how we will live in a new self-sustaining future. In our present-day world, fear abounds. Anger, hatred, and the mass suffering of the weaker of us has overcome the global consciousness of our planet, which itself is also suffering. Perhaps this is the unavoidable, correct stepping stone to create a renaissance in our civilization. It will not be the first dynamic reconstruction in our history. Behold the teacher's vision through which you are invited to gaze into the peaceful time approaching. The teacher, in speaking of his vision to the student, closed his eyes, tilted his head back, and exclaimed, "It will be so peaceful." Welcome to the first of 3 parts to what has been ordained to be known as the mystic end of the 7th ray. High in the valleys and plains of the rainforest of India lies the yet unseen wonder of the mystic end of the 7th ray. You are greeted by the Mystic Towers, a collection of energy-producing architecturals that double as research labs, administration offices, a welcome center, and parking areas. The Mystic Power Station is a massive edifice which, like all the features of the Mystic End, must use one of the 5 elements to generate self-sustainable energy. Here at the Mystic Towers, the gravity of the falling water, combined with emerging nanotechnologies, creates continuous energy to serve the needs of the Mystic End community. Here is the Eco Living Center, which houses ecological research laboratories, along with a full complement of ego architects and engineers. They will provide builders and advisors to projects around the world, ranging from homes to villages, factories, and cities. These unique energy-producing buildings even serve as parking facilities for the staff of the Mystic Towers. The centerpiece of the Mystic Inn is the 300-acre botanical garden. Miles of walkways traverse what will become Asia's most exquisite collection of exotic trees, plants, and flowers. These will be brought from every corner of our planet, and with them will come the nature spirits of each land. The Mystic Inn Botanical Gardens will become an international treasure and destination, expecting at maturity to be visited by over 1 million people annually. This oasis of peace will have additional features for our guests, including museums, exhibition centers, multicultural performance venues. These and other architectural wonders will facilitate a peaceful change of consciousness when experienced firsthand on a visit to the Mystic Inn of the 7th ray. Here, for instance, is the centerpiece of the Mystic Gardens, the 1,008-foot butterfly house, which is the growing house for all the trees and plants of the Mystic Inn. Guests will receive guided tours of this exotic greenhouse, introducing all to the unique forms of plants and flowers on offer throughout the Mystic Inn of the 7th ray. As the Mystic Inn is open until 10 each evening, there will be lighting features throughout the gardens, such as the dancing waters and light show in front of the butterfly house. The walkways scattered throughout the botanical gardens also pass through the teaching and healing centers. Here is the Temple of Understanding, a conference center and community hall. Other teaching centers include the School of Sacred Geometry. This teaching library will be created under the watchful eye of the famous sacred geometrist, Dr. Keith Critchlow of the Prince of Wales School of Architecture in London. Other teaching centers include the School of Ayurvedic Studies, the School of Chinese Medicine, the Mystic Inn Products Research and Development Labs, the teaching centers for Tai Chi, Feng Shui, and Reiki. This is a small sampling of the planned 18 teaching and healing centers that will form the core of the educational aspects of the Mystic Inn. The Mystic Inn is a virtual vault of knowledge continuously flowing online from the Multimedia Center, creating an online virtual living library of knowledge available to everyone on the planet to enhance the health and peace of all. Here is the Mystic Inn Amphitheater, an amazing duplication of one of the 7 wonders of the ancient Grecian world, the amphitheater at Epicurus. Built in 500 BC, it is considered to be, to this day, the most acoustically perfect amphitheater in the world. Each morning and evening, visitors to the Mystic Inn will view multicultural productions including music and dance by the world's leading performers. Like the Mystic Towers, a waterfall down each side of the amphitheater using the same nanotechnologies will be providing all the electrical power and lighting needs of the amphitheater. Like the Butterfly House at night, the amphitheater will be a visual feast. All the events that take place here will also be broadcast to the world from the Mystic Inn Multimedia Center, creating a virtual library of cultural performances. Behold the sacred water mandir. This marble metaphysical machine was designed under the direct instructions of the teacher. Pure water will be pumped to the crescent of the water mandir's dome. From here it will fall 108 feet onto a massive crystal. From there, it will flow into the star pool. Visitors to the Mystic Inn will be able to drink from the 108 lotus drinking fountains on the edge of the star pool. It will not only be available for all who come to the Mystic Inn, but will be distributed worldwide. The teacher said, "Call the water blessed." Hope springs eternal. This has been the first of 3 previews of the Mystic Inn of the 7th Ray. We thank all of those who have shown such continuing interest in this unique gift to mankind, inspired by the teacher. All can participate in this gift of peace and hope for the coming age.
Obviously, you've probably figured out I'm a 25-year-old boy trapped in a 65-year-old body, which is true. As long as you are stimulated by life, you can do anything you want to the last breath. And if I could put up one more slide, and then I will slide out of here, which is the secrets. It's pretty simple stuff. It really is. I hope you think about it. I hope you care about it. I hope you don't become so educated that you forget how human and beautiful and extraordinary and divine you all are, and how everyone else is. Mutual respect is key, or you're dead. Always. You're a generation that can change things that we failed at, and it's your turn now, and I wish you the best. But this is the simple formula. Thought, word, and deed must always be the same. You catch yourself saying one thing, thinking another, doing another. Be careful. It's the end of the road. This has to be. You'll never be the lead. You'll never be successful. You can't be. You got to tell the truth, no matter what it costs. And these very simple human values, which are taught in, every philosopher, every religion, every this, every that, whatever, which is truth. Always tell the truth. Don't hesitate. They'll know if you don't. It's intuitive nature. Right action. Do the right thing. Do what's correct, no matter what the cost. Do the right thing. In the Vedas, they call it dharma, righteousness. You must do the right thing. Peace. Am I running a peaceful place so people like to come and work, or are they there to get just a check? You know, I've had many cats that were worth a fortune to my business, that were bringing something to the party, and they were bad men. I say, hey man, you know, you could bring a lot to the party, but you got bad vibrations, get the hell out of here. I wasn't going to put bad vibrations into my family. I don't care how much the guy's worth. He would have destroyed it. And you. Nonviolence. We all know nonviolence through Gandhi and through Martin Luther King, but it's not just nonviolence, physical, because this is a very powerful thing. It's full of energy. You know, anything about physics and metaphysics, they're almost identical. But you can bring bad vibrations into anyone's neighborhood just by thinking about them. Hatred, greed, envy. You can hurt people. So nonviolence is not just physical nonviolence, it's stay away from anger, hatred, lust, all the negative sides. And you'll all be tempted. It's part of the whole thing, yeah. And love, if you know what that is. There's two types of people that ever came to work for me. There's two types of people in this room. And I had over 10,000 beautiful children that I was blessed to work with over the many, many years. Two types of people. Those who have been loved and those who have been unloved. It's parenting. You know, I hired people because I came from a loveless family of all these crazy things. I hired people that nobody else wanted. And I brought them under this umbrella of the loved and unloved, and flowers grew. We created a surrogate family with mutual respect, and anyone could talk to me, and there was no hierarchy. And next thing you know, everybody, you know, grew like flowers. It was incredible. So love, as corny as that may sound, it's powerful stuff. So I've finished my little speech and my little presentation for today. I want to thank Holly and Andrea and the head of the department and all you beautiful, beautiful souls who have fascinating roads to walk down. All those kids from out of the country that came, it's your turn now. America's lost the plot, so whoever has the foreign exchange wins, believe me. And the emerging nations will come back with us. Vengeance. They're just babies. But thank you all for putting up with my story. I hope if I just got one of you to understand what I was trying to say, that I've done my job today. Thank you all. As they say in India, they put their hands together. It means two souls coming together, and they say, Namaste. Namaste to each of you. My daughter, who is my biggest critic, and she came all the way just to give me hell. I'm sure everybody.